Association, University of Kalyani. At the onset of the program, I request Mr. Debarko Chakraborty to deliver the welcome address.
Thank you, Saptarshi. I wonder if the words good morning would evoke smiles in this summer morning. Nonetheless, the weather has been forgiving for the last 2 days, and this too, along with the seminar, has given me an opportunity to wish, greet and welcome all the delegates, speakers, chairpersons and the advisory committee for a 2-day seminar on interdisciplinary approaches in science, humanities and culture. So very good morning to you all. At the very outset, I would like to acknowledge the overwhelming help and support that our University of Kalyani has extended to us for the program. Without this support, I wonder if we, the members of Kalyani Research Scholars Association, would have been able to organize a 2-day seminar on a topic which encompasses the 3 main arenas of the very fiber of human civilization. I would like to thank our Vice Chancellor, Professor Ratan Lal Hanglu in particular, who from the very beginning encouraged and supported us with an open heart and words of fortitude. It was he who helped us nurture the idea of this seminar and bring it to fructification. So sir, I on behalf of Kalyani Research Scholars Association thank you and welcome you. I wonder if the 3 words science, humanities and culture are in any way incomprehensible in this new age of interdisciplinary research and its application. Just as science is an outcome of social and cultural advancement over the ages, it is the advancement of science that now seeks to conjugate and replenish the very fiber of human existence so that a new dawn becomes the new generation to amalgamate these 3 spheres for the advancement of human race. However, the new age research is not without pitfalls. It is not only me but also people with similar outlook who are at a loss over the supposed adverse impact of the development in science and technology that has brought about in this society. So can human culture remain untouched? Never ever has been the realization so strong amongst the thinkers of the scientific community that there is an imperative need to bring together and amalgamate like-minded people cutting across national barriers who can synthesize and amalgamate the essence of development in science, humanities and culture and provide the human race with the elixir for further advancement. It is with these imperative opinions and a must-do attitude that the Kalyani Research Scholars Association is looking forward towards the organization and successful completion of this seminar that is hoped to provide a suitable platform for the exchange of thought, ideas and beliefs to the researchers, teachers and scientists in particular and the people in general that will pave the way for the new generation for a rather more fulfilling and sustainable mode of development in science, humanities and culture. Thank you.
The fragrance of flowers spread the message of love and respect. Likewise, with this essence, we would welcome our guests. I now request Debaroti to present the floral greetings to Professor Ratan Lal Hanglu, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of University of Kalyani. Thank you, sir. I now request Dr. Poulomi to honor Professor Animesh Chakraborty with the floral greetings as a token of respect. Thank you, sir. We are proud to have you within us. I now request Ankita to present the floral greetings to Professor Gautam Sengupta as a token of gratitude. Thank you, sir. Light symbolizes knowledge, while the darkness represents ignorance. Let us enlighten the power of knowledge on this auspicious occasion by lighting the ceremonial lamp. I request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Ratan Lal Hanglu, Professor Chakraborty and Professor Sengupta to light the ceremonial lamp and inaugurate the 2-day National Seminar on Interdisciplinary Approaches in Science, Humanities and Culture. I request Debaroti to help in the lamp lighting ceremony. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. On behalf of the Kalyani University Research Scholars Association, we are very happy to announce that in the short course of time for preparing for this seminar, we have received about 35 abstracts on various disciplines of science, arts and culture. And those will be presented in the form of poster presentation in the due course of 2 days during this seminar. Our book of abstract has been compiled and prepared, which is going to be published today in front of the dignitaries. I now request Professor Animesh Chakraborty, the guest of honor, to release the book of abstracts before the gathering. I request Ankita to help in the release of book of abstracts as the proceedings for this seminar. Thank you, sir, for doing the honor. It is my proud privilege to request Professor Ratanlal Hanglu, Honorable Vice Chancellor, University of Kalyani, who is also the chief patron for this program, to deliver the presidential address. Please, sir.
Very good morning to all of you. Respected Professor Chakraborty, esteemed Professor Gautam Sengupta, our members of the faculty, dear students and research scholars. Let me at the very outset thank our research scholars very profusely for organizing this seminar by them, perhaps for the first time in this university, with such an academic content. We are all honored by the presence of very, very two important scholars in their own field. Professor Animesh Chakraborty is known all over the world, a big name in the field of science, particularly chemistry, who has during his career very significantly contributed to the development of science in this country, taught more than thousands and thousands of students during his career, done wonderful research. We are honored to have you here, sir. With Professor Gautam Sengupta, I am going to be very formal here, but let me tell you, he is more than an elder brother to me. He must have slapped me in my earlier career many times, I tell you, and I feel proud of that, because he is really like my elder brother. Professor Gautam Sengupta is not only known as India's #1 and finest archaeology and art history man, but also a great administrator. He has just completed the term of Director General of Archaeological Survey of India for whole of India, which is a cabinet rank position in Delhi, and is back to West Bengal. He is the first person who has given us the Atlas on Eastern India, which was never prepared by anybody earlier, a daunting task in fact. I don't know, we shall have to check up whether we have that available in our library or not. We'll certainly otherwise seek a copy. Apart from that, he has also significantly contributed. He was President of Indian History Congress for that particular section. He has hundreds of articles, published books, and is very innovative in his field. He has traveled every bit of India in search of artifacts, in search of research, and so on. We are also honored to have you here. We'll be having some more scholars, in fact, who would certainly act as research scholars. We should also acknowledge the efforts by Mr. Saurabh and also Sugata, if I remember correctly. In fact, she is not here, she has taken up a job now. I remember when they first came to me and used to give me wonderful feedback. In fact, on 26th of January, when we gave awards to them, people were surprised, what is that research scholar? They thought that perhaps it was a kind of appeasement policy for research scholars, but that was not true. You know, I have seen them unfailingly every day coming and giving me the feedback about different kinds of activities, problems that scholars were facing both in hostels and academically, the cases of registration, non-registration bringing to my notice, and various other things. This seminar evolved out of those meetings, in fact, that we decided that we will have 2 seminars this year. One would be conducted by research scholars as a national seminar, which we are hosting today, and there would also be at the end of this year, most probably December or so, an international seminar hosted by research scholars. We also thank Shri Alo Ghosh here, who has helped a lot in organization of this seminar. Friends, such seminars are very, very important. It's not enough if we do science in a lab and sit quietly and publish an article on some finding and that science contributes and so on, or a historian writes an article and with that the story ends and it goes to record. It's more important that the outcome is being discussed. It's more important to facilitate an interaction between the scientists of variety of disciplines and social scientists and people from humanities, languages, if they get together. A better science and a better social science can best be pursued if all these aspects are kept in view and if there's an interaction in these fields. We are making a beginning with this seminar and we have a long road to go. We certainly will succeed one day or the other. But this is the beginning. Friends, we have many other activities listed for today. With these words, I once again thank you all and thank Professor Chakraborty and Professor Gautam Sengupta for making us proud. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your... I now request Professor Animesh Chakraborty, Tata Chemicals Distinguished Emeritus Professor, Indian Association for the Cultivation of Science, Kolkata, to address the gathering. Please, sir.
Before addressing or saying anything, let me first say that I am very, very happy to be here. And on the formal side, Professor Hanglu, Professor Sengupta, and all the teachers who are present here, and my very dear students, and all others present here. As I said, I am very happy to be amongst you here, because one of the very important reasons is that the title of your seminar, because of two reasons. This seminar is organized by students, research scholars here, that is important, and the title is very, very interesting. Interdisciplinary approaches in science, humanities and culture. It almost touches creation. I'll try to explain quickly. It's very interesting. Later I shall talk about chemistry a little more in detail, not in any great detail naturally, but in my main lecture which I am supposed to give. But here I shall limit myself to one or two very general points on the theme of the seminar today. Science and arts, or call the latter humanities and culture as you like, are essentially man's ways to understand, to analyze and to categorize the environment, or more ambitiously, the universe or nature, of which he himself has been a resident for some time. The problem is that the task is too big for him to perform in one go. But he is clever enough to realize this and decides to proceed with the task part by part, hoping to recreate the whole from the parts someday. Oldest amongst man's sciences was astronomy. That was the oldest. Among other things, men needed it to predict the periodicity of phenomena like the flooding of waters, as like the Nile River in Egypt, for example, bringing fertility to the land. And even 3,000 years ago, people already knew, because they have followed this periodicity. Many people knew in many countries, like Egypt, for example, that the year is made out of 365 days. I am talking of thousands of years ago. Then the change started. Astronomy and mathematics one day started driving physics, and later physics started driving chemistry, which then matured to drive biology. It became like a web that interconnected all. The interdisciplinary web of sciences, if you want to call it so. Humanities have its own web, and the webs of science and humanities cross-connect, generating a bigger whole. It had to be like this. The universe or nature, with all its contents, had evolved from a single point to the present state over a period of 14 billion years. The Supreme Creator, or whatever you may want to call it, knew no disciplines. The Supreme Creator knew no disciplines and had a single blueprint to follow. 14 billion years later, man trying to decipher the outcome of the blueprint divided and subdivided it and created his disciplines as we see today, as we saw above. But as he sees and learns more, he finds his disciplines melting, crumbling and intermingling. This is what is expected. So that is why I congratulated the research scholars that they are talking of interdiscipline. You should really reflect about it. It is in the very act of creation that everything, God did not create the disciplines. Human beings have created the disciplines. But we live in God's work in this universe, and therefore to understand it fully, eventually all the disciplines have to be mixed together in some manner. And in our universities, particularly in the advanced countries, this is reflected in many ways. One or two small examples I can give. Like that now in many places, not so much in our country unfortunately yet, there are no chemistry, department of chemistry or department of biology. But there is one department of chemistry and biology. This is quite common. For example, in Harvard, what was a chemistry department is now called the Department of Chemistry and Biology. And degrees like Master of Arts in Interdisciplinary Science, etc., etc. There are Master of Arts in Interdisciplinary Science. That is to give a good feeling about science amongst everybody and to show the importance of science. And then look at this. Every year, classical chemists cry that the Nobel Prize in Chemistry has gone to a biologist or to a medical doctor or to a physicist and so on. Hold your tears, the disciplines are melting and they will continue to do so. So, Kallani University research scholars, you have struck the right chord by starting a seminar on the interdisciplinarity of not only science but of humanities and trying to look at the whole web. I hope you continue to do this and you are sure to have success there. Thank you very much. I say it again that I am very happy to be here, to see you and to talk to your Vice Chancellor for almost an hour and trying to see the kind of things that he is trying to do. I hope with God's and government's help and his own perseverance, Kallani can finally see some parts of the dream on which it was built one day by the greats of this soil. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful illustration on the interdisciplinary science. As well as we are fortunate to learn the evolution of interdisciplinary science mixed with humanities and culture from an eminent person like you. It is my proud privilege to request Professor Gautam Sengupta, former Director General, Archaeological Survey of India, to address this august gathering. Please, sir.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, Professor Animesh Chakraborty, very distinguished professor, very distinguished scientist, friends and students. I am delighted to be here this morning. Delighted because after many years, this university has taken up an initiative which is extremely relevant at this point of time. Delighted because this seminar is happening at a point of time when a very dear friend, a distinguished historian and a colleague from my yesteryear is heading this university. So this is a very happy coincidence. And I repeat, I am very, very happy to be present here this morning with all of you. Professor Chakraborty has set the tone of the discussion. He has brilliantly summarized the evolution of different disciplines out of a common area, how from astronomy the different branches of science developed because of a variety of factors. I'm not going into, and my task has been made easy with Professor Chakraborty's presentation. I'm not going to touch upon Professor Chakraborty's presentation, but I'll briefly indicate the importance of interdisciplinary approach, especially in the domain of historical research. I represent a sub-discipline of history. I know my archaeologist friends will be offended, but I still look at archaeology as one of the sub-disciplines of history. With the passage of time, there have occurred very significant changes in the way history is being understood, explained, and interpreted. One major development is the increasing acceptance of different disciplines as essential tools for a proper understanding of history of mankind. For example, as historians or as archaeologists, we have been for many years concerned with certain broad issues like the chronological succession of kings, like the great wars, the rise and fall of dynasties. In other words, our concern were largely centered around supermen, around men who are above average. But there had occurred a sea change in way we look at the past now. In this changed perception of the past, most important, the central concern is not the above average human being. They are great acts of piety or they are great acts of heroic exploits. But today the central concern is how men lived. What was the kind of environment in which they survived? What were their staple diet? What were the items they used for day-to-day living? How did they build houses? How did they fashion a boat that would take them from one part of the sea to another? What were the major diseases from which they suffered? How did they perceive the life after death? And how did they celebrate or commemorate death? These are a range of questions with which a historian as well as an archaeologist would be preoccupied today. What were the principal grains that would grow in a given locality and that would sustain a human community? What was the size of the community that could survive over a given piece of landscape? So these are very mundane, day-to-day issues with which history is concerned. History is no more concerned with, let us put it somewhat bluntly, no more concerned with Ashoka, Samudragupta or Napoleon. History is concerned with these small trivialities, you may say, small mundane issues of day-to-day existence. And in understanding these mundane issues of day-to-day existence, without which the human history would not have been possible, historians and archaeologists are increasingly, I repeat, increasingly getting dependent or have started increasingly interacting with scholars representing different domains, different segments of science. Today, paleopathology is a very important segment of our inquiry. We cannot do it, but we collaborate with people who are the domain expertise. Today, archaeometallurgy is a very important segment of our research. Today, paleo-environment is a very important issue. Today, the mortuary ritual is a very important concern, which was earlier concern of by and large the anthropologists. So, from physics to, from geology to physics, chemistry to biological sciences, archaeologists and historians should now go and knock at the door of almost everyone, because the ultimate concern, if we may use a Brodelian statement, ultimate concern is to understand the human history in its entirety, in its totality. So in this search of entirety of human past, in its search for the totality of human past, without compromising the very question of smaller regions, local traditions, regional experiences, historians and archaeologists are now actively working with scholars from across different disciplines, from geography, geology, physics, chemistry, name any, even medical sciences, paleopathology, as I just archaeometallurgy. And this has certainly enriched not only our vision of history, but also expanded the horizon of history. History has now come much closer to everybody's interest, has become really everybody's concern. History is, as somebody put it many years back, history is too serious a subject to be left at the discretion of historians alone. So historians are not working alone. They are now working with a group of scholars who in their own way will contribute to fabrication of a total history of mankind, where, as I say, the history of the domestication of animal, to history of the grains used, to the history of soil, the history of the course of river, every single element becomes important. And it is to this total history that we are increasingly turning to. And I am sure this interdisciplinary, this seminar with a specific focus on interdisciplinary research will once again make us aware of how we should gradually learn to break the boundaries and walls and relate to different disciplines. I congratulate the Research Scholars Association for organizing this seminar, and I thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your note and findings based on archaeology and history, an obvious interdisciplinary subject, and the relevance of this seminar in context to the present day. Now, I request Mr. Saurabh Singhurai, Secretary of Kalyani University Research Scholars Association, to present the vote of thanks.